Hi BookTube, it's Amy. I'm back again with the private papers of The Bankrupt Bookseller by Will Y. Darling. And this is the third video in the series. This is a fictionalized diary of a bookseller published in 1931. And we are picking up with the section titled 9. I have Brewer in 2 volumes by Castle, and I was reading it over my tea. There are 2 pages, 2 columns in each, devoted to the word 9 and its significances, and yet the most significant significance of 9 is not mentioned. 9 is one of the mystic numbers of the Greeks. 9 consists of a trinity of trinities. 9 is a simple representative of plural perfection. We may go dressed up to the 9s, and there are 9 orders of angels. There are 9 gods, and there is the 9th heaven. There are 9 muses, 9 tailors make a man, and there are 9 days' wonders. There are 9 crowns in heraldry, and there are 9 rivers in hell. Possession is 9 part to the law, and the law's most unpleasant punishment is the cat o' 9 tails. There are 9 planets, and a cat has 9 lives. The Reverend Dr. Brewer gives them all of these and many more, but I have made a discovery which he has omitted. For you who may read this and for me who write it, there is a more important 9. It is the 9th letter of the alphabet, and the 9th letter of the alphabet is of course I. The next section here is titled Literary Affinities. If man know thyself is the first counsel of wisdom, man confess thyself is an important stage on the journey to self-knowledge. My literary ancestry are the self-revealers. Samuel Pepys gives me shamelessness, Emile's journal, the desire to go as deep as I can in my shallowness, Barbellion, who has taught me to see value in the trivial and deem it worthwhile to set it down for myself, if not for others. Henry Rycroft gave me calm resignation and a love of nature and the country. Bagshot made me a commentator on men and politics. Richard Jefferies, hints of an infinite that I may know. These are my principal ancestors, and I affirm strong grounds for my ancestor worship. They have a common characteristic. None was happy in life. They had their dearest joy in self-examination and in self-revelation, and so have I. Their books alone make me glad I became a bookseller. If the world, my world, ends tonight, I count myself as having lived well, these men being among my friends. They are all dead. And our next section header here is titled The Bookseller and the Books. It is to St. Thomas Aquinas that the saying is attributed, "Beware of a man of one book." The saint gives me his blessing by implication. The world has nothing to beware of in me. I am no man of one book, but a man of many books. I am a bookseller with shop and shelves all complete. It is a fine calling, and one which, as far as I ever heard or knew, never yet begot malicious envy. Envy it has begotten. For years I envied those who were booksellers, but it was an envy which did not seek any ill or loss to the envied. I swear that I only wanted to be as these happy mortals were. I did not covet my neighbor's goods, but I thought his circumstances fortunate, and longed to be as he was, always allowing that no detriment befell him in my attaining my ambition. I am an unrepentant book lover, and so soaked am I in the love of books that I feel, poor 20th century shopkeeper that I am, I feel that Pliny is a man I know for all the 18th centuries and more that lie between us. Pliny used to say, you will see it in a translation I have on my shelves, that no book was so bad that some good might be got out of it, and that is my feeling. I and Pliny, born and bred so differently, feel the same about books, and it gives me a flattering sense of rightness, sitting here in this shop, among books that Pliny could not have imagined, books written in a language which was not then evolved. The thought makes me feel thrilled. There is no other word for it, but I dare not tell it to anyone. It is an astonishing secret to me that I must enjoy alone. Does my neighbor, important man and full of civic honors, does my neighbor have his calling in life endorsed so classically? I cannot think so. He wants the royal appointment, he once told me, but he would laugh if I told him that Pliny was my patron. I savor every hour of every day the good fortune that made me a bookseller. It might have made me anything, but it could not have made me happier. I was destined, if by the purposes of eager and ignorant parents can be dignified by the name of destiny, for some aspiring, respectable clerking, but I loathed it always and left it soon. If I am to write books, it will be books into which I can put more of myself than ledger entries, debtor and creditor. Not that I, thinking it over as I write, disparage even ledgers. Ledgers have written the tragic and comic history of many a life, and even the very name of a day book suggests the solemn transience of men. That American writer, Joseph Hergesheimer, makes a counting house book the repository of a most moving episode at the conclusion of the 3 Black Pennies. Howitt, the last of the pennies, rummaging among the remnants of his past, comes on a full ledger bound in crumbling calf with stained and wrinkled leaves. It had been the forge book in 1750, and he noted the faded entries, what flourishing pale violet initials, what rubicund lines and endings. He marked this last of his line, 2 handwritings listing commonplace transactions, now invested by time with an accumulated poignant significance, one smooth and clerkly, the other abrupt with heavy impatient strokes. Youth, probably. He ruminates, held at an unwelcome task. As he turned the pages, the book fell, and from it dropped a note, obliterated by creases, but with some lines still legible, hurriedly scrawled by a woman. It was a note signed Ludwika. But where have I got to? I am away from my thought about books, and am now even glorifying ledgers. I replace Hergensheimer's book and feel again the immensity of my little business, how it makes its master willy-nilly a veritable time traveler, though he never leaves his shop. Where is there a day's work that can connect Pliny and Hergensheimer as mine has done without an effort this afternoon? Bookselling is the very kernel of the romance of commerce. I feel, though, for that matter, shopkeepers never have seemed to me to make the most of their business. I wonder if the chambers of commerce would not do more for the advancement of the shopkeepers and the esteem of the public life if they published in pamphlet form, handy to give the customers, these wonderful interviews which Adam Wayne had with the shopkeepers of Notting Hill. The Grocers' Federation, or is it the Ancient Company of Grocers? I don't know. What have they done with the grand tribute which Wayne gave their trade when he talked to Mr. Mead? Or the pharmaceutical chemists? How does Mr. Bowles stand with them? Or where is Mr. Turnbull among the Association of Toy Shopkeepers? I never read the Napoleon of Notting Hill, but I wish that its author had found a bookseller among its magic streets and let Adam Wayne talk to him. It is the only defect in a wonderful book, and yet it is a book, I find, that is little known and little read among my customers. But I am an indifferent literary guide. I have occasionally allowed my enthusiasms to run away with me, and their running away was the immediate prelude to my customer doing likewise. I find my need is temperance. I find I must cling fast to my determination to let my customers look where they like and buy where they like. I must not proselytize, although it is ever hard on a believer to suppress the good tidings that have given him great joy. I must be restrained. I will out to my doorstep and smell the evening with my books for the moment behind me. The night is coming on fast, and there is a blue among the blackness of the sky. There are a few stars, and fretting the sky on the far side of the road, these trees sway gently. Life strikes me suddenly as being too overwhelming in its perfection, in its completeness, in its beauty, and in its unspeakable and untellable wonder. Books are small now that my back is turned to my shop, and the mind of man is great, but beyond both, unfathomed and unfathomable, is a greatness passing all understanding. Yet, with it all, a greatness of which I am a living, feeling, pulsing particle. And I think we will leave it there for today at the 10-minute mark here. So I hope you enjoyed that third reading from the private papers of The Bankrupt Bookseller by Darling.